Good Tuesday morning. It is what? I think the 18th of February.
It is.
And here we are. Meteorologist Craig Moeller joined with meteorologist Taylor Stephenson. Taylor, we've got a big winter storm.
I know.
Getting a lot of attention from us.
I mean, it should. We could be in the bullseye for some of the heaviest snowfall with this system.
Yeah, it's really interesting coming together. We're going to talk a lot about that. On this edition of the Weather Desk, you know, with the Weather Desk, we talk about local weather, regional weather, national weather, even international weather sometimes. But we're really going to focus a lot on what's happening across Hampton Roads and parts of the central U.S. Let's take a look at our weather headlines. And Taylor, right off the bat, you can see this big winter storm. It's going to impact Hampton Roads, our region right here in Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina. So we're going to be focusing a lot on this edition of the Weather Desk. You can see we're also going to have a closer look at several models and the snowfall projections. And Taylor, that's one of the things that we've been looking at as a team for quite a while. I mean, there's been variations.
I mean, it all really depends on where that low pressure tracks. Further north, we're getting more sleet for North Carolina. Further south, we're going to see a little bit more widespread snow. So it really is all dependent on that track of low pressure. But usually it's the cold air that we don't get. So I'm glad that we have the cold air. That's in place.
Cold air's in place. So, you know, confidence is high that we're going to get a significant amount of snow. But we're going to be talking about some of the differences in the models and just taking a look and really breaking it down hour by hour to give you a sense of, hey, this is when the snow should really start to show up and how much we're going to be dealing with. And then after that, the third topic we want to talk about, what to expect and how to prepare and how you can help tell the story. And Taylor, you know, we talk about these things, but when you've got a winter storm that's impending the way this one is, it's important to remind folks.
Right. Remind them to take precautions to be safe in these situations. While we love to have your photos, we don't want you risking your life to get said photos. So.
Yeah, so we've got some important preparations you're going to be back to talk to us about in just a little bit. Right now, what I want to do is jump into the big picture here. We're going to take a look at what's happening nationally across the country. You see some snow showing up right now with the satellite and the radar images extending from portions of Kentucky and Ohio back across southern Indiana, southern Illinois, through parts of Missouri, and then back into Kansas, Nebraska, down into Oklahoma. A little bit of rain showing up down around Texas. This is all part of this system that is going to impact us here in Hampton Roads, this big one that we're talking about here. Now, the area of low pressure right now is down to the south, and I'll get into exactly where it is and how it is forecast to track. But we have this wintry weather in this part of the country working eastward, and the air is so tremendously cold right now across the north central U.S. Look at this cold air that's in place, and this will eventually be working its way to the east southeast. Bismarck right now, 33 degrees below zero. These aren't wind chills. These are actual air temperatures. Omaha, Nebraska, 10 degrees below zero. Minneapolis, 13 below, and Chicago's at 4 degrees below zero. So bitterly cold across the upper central part of the country, the northern and north central parts of the U.S. This storm system is going to work eastward and come into play with some colder air that will be in place. And with this new storm already dropping some snow, as I was showing you in the plains, the death toll from flooding from the last storm is going higher. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about that, the widespread Arctic outbreak that will be felt by well over 100 million Americans, including us here in Hampton Roads. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
Overnight, firefighters outside Philadelphia battling this massive warehouse fire as feel-like temperatures dipped into the teens. The winds may be easing today, but temperatures are not. Record cold is possible in the upper Midwest and plains, wind chills plunging to 60 below. Farther south, snow today from Oklahoma and Arkansas to flood-stricken Kentucky days after historic flooding. At least 12 storm-related deaths are now confirmed in Kentucky alone. Meanwhile, in Detroit, icy water flooded several city blocks after a water main burst open.
It just kept rising, like it flooded our basements, knocked our furnaces out, flooded our backyards. We can't do anything, can't go anywhere.
Several feet of frozen water surrounding homes and vehicles. More than 75 people had to be brought to safety, many of them children. One mother said the water was rushing up to her children's beds. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
So obviously there is a lot to keep a close eye to with weather stories across the country. I wanted to show you kind of the big picture here with all of the winter weather advisories shaded in purple, all of these areas, the areas in pink under winter storm warning. And while you see Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, parts of Kentucky and Tennessee, southern Illinois, Indiana, back into West Virginia, it's this area we really want to focus on for Hampton Roads because some of the most significant snowfall from this whole situation is likely to develop right here across our immediate area. So for the Eastern Shore, the Middle Peninsula, I'm talking about Matthews and Gloucester specifically, the peninsula and the south side Hampton Roads, and this extends all the way out past I-95, past I-85, through the Piedmont, out through Lynchburg and Farmville, down through South Boston, this whole area, along with northern North Carolina and northeast North Carolina, all these areas under winter storm warning. The one part of North Carolina there just to our south that is not included in the warning is Dare County. So the mainland Dare area and the Outer Banks still not under warning, but look for them to potentially go under advisory. There's more opportunity for mix or maybe some rain down to the south there at Dare County. So we'll keep an eye to that, but I still think snow is a very, very likely thing for most of our area, and heavy snow at that. So this is what we're going to be breaking down. Let's talk about why we have our weather impact alert for Hampton Roads. Wednesday and Thursday, we are looking at snow, and it will be significant. Now, we talk about significant snow. Sometimes we say, hey, there's a good chance for snow, and you could get an inch or so. That could be really significant for some folks that aren't used to traveling in it, and some areas aren't very good at handling much snow at all. They don't have the means to clear it. Here, VDOT is going to get after it. They've already been pre-treating the roads, but with the snow that we're expecting, it's going to still leave roads very messy, and folks need to make a plan, especially the secondary roads, and we're going to talk more about that as we go. But when you're talking 5-6 inches of snow, in some cases 6 to 10, maybe even locally higher in a couple of spots, you have to be prepared for that. So we're going to continue to watch this, and again, a very heavy snow for parts of the area. That is the primary concern. When you take a look at the different threats that come along with winter storms, freezing rain, sleet, heavy snow, and gusty winds, you have varying amounts of significance. Like the freezing rain, it's possible. It's not something we're totally saying no to, but it's less likely that we see much of that across the area. Gusty winds northeast, gusting up around 20 miles per hour. That's not a real big deal. I do expect some mixed precipitation, and while there could be some freezing rain, it's more likely we see some sleet down into North Carolina. So we'll say moderate with that threat significance. Heavy snow is the thing that we are most concerned with this storm system. Right now, I want to show you where the system is and how it's expected to move. As I mentioned, we've got snow stretching across much of the central U.S., some rain showing up down around Texas. As I stop with the latest satellite and radar images here, let me go ahead and add on where our area of low pressure is. We had a little surface low here closer to southwest Missouri earlier, but this is kind of the bigger chunk of energy here, the upper level or mid-level low. And down to the surface, we've got this area of low pressure kind of still coming together back across Texas. Now, this is going to continue to work eastward and to the southeast, and then eventually work up off the coast. But meanwhile, I just told you about that super cold air in the north central U.S., talking about areas like Bismarck and Minneapolis and Omaha, where it's been so bitterly cold here. This air is plunging south. Some of this air around Minneapolis and Wisconsin is working to the east-southeast. So with that cold air coming this way and this low expected to track down to the southeast across Louisiana and then swing off the coast of Georgia or South Carolina and then kind of intensify as it moves off. This is the one that's going to throw moisture back into the cold air starting tomorrow and continuing through tomorrow night into Thursday. There may be a little bit of a break, but additional snow showers will be possible a little later on Thursday as well. Once that moves out, we're going to see clearing skies as we get into Friday and Saturday. Even late Thursday, it's possible we'll see some clearing. But the air behind this system is still really cold. So the snow we get isn't going anywhere immediately. It may hang around for a few days, and that could mean some issues for us, obviously, here in Hampton Roads. So right now, we don't have anything out there to worry about. It's been a somewhat chilly morning. I mean, we've seen temperatures into the 20s earlier for some of our inlet areas, but most spots now in the 30s and starting to come up a little bit. As you can see, the skies are mainly clear to partly cloudy. There are a few clouds for some inlet areas, but we don't have any snow to worry about right now. As we go forward, things are going to change. So you can see temperatures today close to 40 around Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Temperatures a little bit warmer, mid-40s, maybe even upper 40s down to the south. That's through the afternoon. As we head through the overnight, and you see even by the evening here, we're starting to see some cooler air working in, temperatures into the mid-30s, and then morning temperatures around 3 a.m. dropping down into the upper 20s. Now the ground is going to get colder, and we start to see the leading edge with this model. And this is the graph model, but it does show that moisture, some of the snow starting to creep in to the westernmost parts of the region. This is early, pre-sunrise. As we take you through 5 a.m., you'll notice this does bring some snow back across northern parts of the area. Now, low levels of the atmosphere are going to be pretty dry, and initially in this scenario, we see it showing up. Maybe you check your radar app. You go to the 13 News Now app and you access the radar and go, well, look, it looks like it's snowing. You don't really see as much making it down to the ground initially. Not until the dew points and the temperatures kind of converge and the low levels of the atmosphere have more moisture. It allows the snow to make it down. So initially, probably some flurries sometime around sunrise or maybe a few light snow showers off to the north. May not see that much down to the south. As we go, though, through the mid-morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, with that persistent snow falling aloft, eventually we're going to start seeing more flurries and maybe light snow showers. And then as we go through the mid-morning, this is interesting now, around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, snow becomes more widespread initially out to the west. And then look at this. Now that area of low pressure swinging up the coast is starting to throw a little more moisture back into our area. And that's where we see the snow filling in across North Carolina and across Hampton Roads. Now, again, this is the graph model. I am going to show you as we go through the weather desk this morning, this long format version of weather coverage. I'm going to show you a bunch of different models and show you how they're handling this situation. Temperatures here, low 30s, maybe slightly above freezing, Kill Level Hills and Elizabeth City, and this is at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. I think most of Hampton Roads will be cold enough to support the snow, and if we get some of that heavier snow, again, it overcomes whatever warmth is left on the ground. The snow starts to stick and pile up pretty quickly as we go through the afternoon and into the early evening. You see upper 20s here. Now we're in the low 30s, maybe a little bit of sleet or mix down this way. Probably not freezing rain because those ground temperatures are going to be a little bit warm initially, but I do expect some sleet and eventually a transition to snow down that way. As we go into the evening, we're still looking at snow here with the graph model and continuing across parts of northeast North Carolina. It starts to wind down as we get into the morning hours on Thursday, and there may be a little window, a little break here. Look at these cold temperatures at low 20s. Again, the snow that's on the ground, it's not melting, not early Thursday. As we go a little bit later on Thursday, some of the upper level energy kind of tracks through the area and we get another shot at some additional snow showers, probably maybe another, say, half an inch to an inch or so of snow with that upper level energy coming through. After that clears, things will clear Thursday night and into Friday. So that's just one model, the graph model. I'm going to show you the forecast for snow from several of these models as we go along. Let's start off with a look at the graph, and you can see the snowfall amounts projected to be not too significant through 11:15. And I'll tell you what, Taylor Stephenson walked into the studio. We're doing this live and on the fly. If our director is able to open her mic, I'd be interested in getting a few of her thoughts on some of these model projections because we've been watching these for days. So if we have Taylor's mic available and she's able to step in, we're doing this live for you here on YouTube and on the 13 News Plus app. We've seen these models, Taylor. You know, we were talking about this earlier. It may take a little while for that moisture to really start adding up to much down to the ground because it's been so dry.
Right. It's when the snow starts to fall, because it's falling into such a dry environment, it evaporates a lot of the times. Now, once that happens, it adds moisture to the air. So any subsequential snowfall we see will make it through those really dry layers.
Yeah, and you know, the past day or two, we've been watching the models and the little fluctuations. I know you were in. She was actually my hero a couple days ago, yesterday coming in. We had to switch the schedules. I got trapped with the high wind warnings and got in super late with air flight, all kinds of issues. But you were saying earlier, you know, we've been trying to time out when all of this stuff moves in. With the graph model, you see some of that snow initially down to the south, a little bit off to the north, and then it really fills in as we go later in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's going to be the main bulk of snow anytime, mainly after lunchtime. And then it's going to be super consistent. Once we get that snowfall going, it's going to be ongoing through Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening.
Yeah, you see Friday, or this is Friday. I'm thinking Friday. Wednesday afternoon there around 5 o'clock as we head into the evening, those numbers keep going up.
Right.
So you're talking down through midnight, and the graph focuses more of that heavier stuff down to the south. For Norfolk through Thursday, 5 to 6 inches. Now, this is one of the lower end models.
Yes, it is.
We're going to show you another one here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Euro. The Euro also has been focusing a little bit more to the south, and you've seen that, I think, over the past few days.
Yeah, it has been because it's having that track of the low pressure system a little further south. That would give a widespread snow to the entire viewing area.
Yeah, but some of those heavier concentrations with the Euro really setting up down here. Now, I'm going to show you the GFS model in just a moment, but you can see through early Thursday morning, the Euro trying to project over 12 inches, over a foot of snow for North Carolina. Before you get too excited about that, I want you to remember there's going to be some sleet likely mixing in. Ground's a little bit warmer. So unless that snow comes down super heavy and overcomes, these numbers probably a little bit high.
I agree.
Yeah, so we'll watch for that. And again, if all of the models start pushing to this, we may take our forecast, which we'll show you, and trend it a little farther south with the heavier snow. So that's the Euro. Now here's the GFS, and this is the American model. You can see how this one really fills it in as we go through the afternoon, and then really Wednesday night, you're going to see these numbers jumping up. 9 to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, heavy snow across the area. And look at that. There you go, right across Hampton Roads through Thursday morning. You're talking 8 to 10 inches of snow.
I mean, it all is about snow ratios, too. So we don't have that much moisture a lot of times when it comes to these winter storms, especially this one as well. But because temperatures are in the 20s, those snow ratios go much higher.
Yeah, maybe one of those situations, you know, we had the one significant snow that we had the really high snow ratios.
Right.
We got a lot with a little bit of moisture. The last one we had was really a wet snow.
It was.
It's kind of the opposite. This one should trend back to more towards that drier snow.
Right.
So we'll see. But the GFS, now you're looking at the amounts here, you know, 7 to 10 inches in this area. And then you look down here, and obviously the GFS tracking a little farther to the north. They've got more mix and less of the snow down south. So really interesting. Now you're getting a feel for
what we do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of head scratching. As a matter of fact, our chief meteorologist, Tim Panday, just called this morning and said, hey, what's the updates? How are we looking? You know, he's excited to see how this plays out. We've all been in communication talking. All right, finally, we'll take a look at the NAM, the North American model. And just to show you one more, check this out, Taylor. Look at how the NAM really blows up the snow across the northern parts of the area.
Right.
So the Euro and the graph were down here with that heaviest snow. The GFS was kind of in here, and the NAM says, nope, it's going to be a little farther to the north.
Well, that's an interesting look at this because I feel like with what we've been seeing, it's more of a southern kind of tier of bullseye anywhere from the south side and northeastern North Carolina. So we can have outliers when it comes to our models as well.
And that's what we would say about the NAM. It's a little bit of an outlier, but still it's something that we at least file away when we're talking about it. We don't want to dismiss the possibility that some of that snow could start earlier up to the north or maybe extend a little farther. Again, with the NAM's output, you're still talking 7 to 10 inches. That's through early Thursday. When you add in the additional upper level stuff, you can see a little bit more. Significant snowfall. Every single model is producing something. And Taylor, even again, if we come out on the low ends of the projections, it's still going to be a significant event.
I mean, 4 to 6 inches for here in Hampton Roads, northeastern North Carolina is not small by any amounts for us.
Yeah, and if you're watching from other parts of the country, maybe
you're like,
up in,
4 inches.
You're up in Buffalo, New York, for instance. You're going, really? Or Cleveland or Chicago, some of these areas. We get it, but you know, we don't have all of the road clearing resources right along the coast that they do, even across inland areas. VDOT does do a great job. They've been out pre-treating. So this is what we're looking at. Now, Taylor, this is our kind of in-house kind of consensus looking at all these models. Our thinking right now, and I haven't really changed this from what you guys were doing yesterday. I was off for a couple days, so now I'm back in. I'm leaving it in that 6 to 10 inch range. There could be locally higher amounts. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is good for now, but seeing that new trend later this morning of a more like southern kind of bullseye, we might slide it down just a little bit. But I still think that south side, northeastern North Carolina is going to be the main people to see the heaviest snowfall for the system.
Yeah, this is what we do now is we take a look at the models and the trends, and then we kind of adjust and just continue to refine it and get more and more detailed. I would say anywhere in this area, really all of the models that we showed were for Hampton Roads, and we're talking about the metro area right here in that 5 to 9 or 10 inch range. So I still feel pretty good about that, but whether we extend this a little farther south, pare this down, or whether they trend back a little bit towards the NAM, which is still the outlier right now. But that adjustment could be made as well. That's why it's so important that people keep checking back.
I agree. I do think these snowfall totals, though, are fairly consistent through, like you said, all the models. So I'm not disagreeing with the snowfall totals. Like you said, maybe just paring it down, sliding it south.
Yeah, we'll see. So this is the setup. This is kind of what our current thinking is. Now, this is not a slam dunk yet, okay? And here's why, all right? This storm is still developing, and it's over 1,000 miles away. I just showed you where a lot of that energy was far, far to the west and to the southwest. So things may change a bit, okay? Areas that are hit the hardest will be determined by the exact track of the low. If that low is farther south, the precipitation will track farther south. If the low comes farther north, we could get more warm air kind of mixing into North Carolina, and some of that snow will be farther to the north. So there's still some question about that. And the other thing is, this is mainly a snow event with heavy snow for most of our region, southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina. But sleet or mix may limit the totals for some down to the south. So there are still a few wild cards why this is not quite a slam dunk. Let's talk forecast confidence. Again, precip type, we're very confident that we're going to see snow for most of southeast Virginia and snow and mix for North Carolina. Snow totals, all right, you've seen those models. I just showed you a bunch. That's why, with the models still varying, we're going to go with a moderate amount of confidence. And then the storm timing, we've got high confidence there. Timing on the storm has remained fairly consistent, starting Wednesday, exiting Thursday, with a lot of that stuff coming later Wednesday night, and then early Thursday. A little break probably around sunrise on Thursday, and additional snow showers after that. So there's a lot to consider here. Again, storm impacts, snow, and messy roads. Confidence overall is high that we're going to see this. But I do want to tell you, again, potentially over 6 inches of snow. Snow will cover some roads, especially those secondary roads. And there could be some ice on the southern end of this system with northeast winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that's what we're looking at. Winds won't be a real big deal. What does happen, though, what we see with the snow, it's going to be colder Wednesday and stay cold Thursday. So what isn't cleared off the roads, it is going to linger. And even Friday, with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, widespread, you might get a little bit of melting. But if you get 6 to 8 or 10 inches of snow, it's going to take more than that to get rid of it. So I expect the snow to be lingering and covering some of those roads, making for messy conditions travel-wise through Friday anyway, and into Saturday and Sunday, that's when things start to warm up. It will get warmer next week, so we just need to hang in there. 54 is the average, but the next several days, the next 3 days, it is going to be cold. So here's the bottom line, all right? We've got the winter storm coming. Wednesday into Thursday, we know the heavy snow is likely. There could be some ice or mix possible, and those secondary roads are going to be impacted with the temperature staying cooler for days. All right, we said Taylor was going to be back with some things to help you prepare for this. Let's send it over to her to hear what she has to share.
Well, we could get anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of snow over the coming days, mainly in that bullseye. Outside of that, anywhere from about 2 to 6 inches, which means now is the time to make sure you have everything you need to prepare. And that starts with a good snow shovel. Double check the one you have for any cracks. You don't want it breaking as you clear the sidewalks and driveways. Now it's also a good time to grab the ice melt and absorb some of that moisture to help prevent the ice from getting and hurting your car. Now, the litter for the traction, if you get stuck, can weigh down your car as well. Don't forget, though, those gloves when you're cleaning up around your home or cleaning off your car. Do you know that mittens are better than gloves when it comes to staying warm? Because your fingers are together, they can share that warmth. If you end up losing power, here are some ways to help trap that heat. First, close off unneeded rooms, stuff towels or rags under the cracks in those doors, close blinds and curtains, and wear layers of light, loose-fitting, warm clothes. Now, Craig, those are some good tips. Anything else you have to add to that?
No, I think that's the key, is take the time today to prepare, because tomorrow when the snow's coming, you don't want to have to be running around. And it may not be too bad early in the morning, but today's really a good day to just make sure you've got everything ready to go before the snow works into the region. Now, it's also significant. We're going to ask a favor with this winter weather coming on the way. We always love it when our viewers take time to help us tell the story. What are we talking about? Well, if you have an opportunity to pop a few pics, you've got your cell phone with you, we'd ask you to send in your pictures, because your pictures help us tell the story of the weather and how this system is impacting our region. But instead of sending your photos through text, we would like to get them through the 13 News Now app. Evan Stewart explains just how to do that.
Start by opening your 13 News Now mobile app. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a Near Me tab. Click on that. That will take you to a map that includes a Share With Us button in the top left-hand corner. This is where you can upload any photos or videos that you've taken showing us the weather around you. On this page, you'll fill out the title for your content, your name, email, and where the picture or video was taken. And don't worry, we won't share any of your personal information on air, just your first name and the city where you took the picture or video. Then just hit submit. It's as simple as that. Once your content is submitted, it'll show up on the Near Me app, which you can always check back in on whenever you want to see what other people are experiencing in your area.
All right, so that's a great way to share your pictures and video, your images. It helps, again, let others see what's happening across the region. We love it. It's such a neat time we live in with all this technology, different ways to share and tell the story. Temperatures today are going to reach the upper 30s to low 40s. It'll be a little warmer for inland areas with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Again, today is a great day, the time to really do any of the preps you need to do to make sure you're ready for that snow that's coming in tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s on the eastern shore, low to mid 40s on the peninsula and the middle peninsula around Matthews. A little bit cooler there, but Gloucester close to 41. It's also going to be a little warmer down across North Carolina, looking pretty good at the Outer Banks. Cooler there with highs in the low 40s. Overnight tonight, clouds increase, lows near 28. Tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures staying in the low 30s. We have our weather impact alert for snow developing. We do have the winter storm warning for Hampton Roads. After that, we're going to see the temperatures staying chilly on Thursday, back up to 38 on Friday. Again, snow develops tomorrow. It's a certainty. And then the chances for some lingering snow on Thursday. We'll probably see a few breaks in there as well, but I think some more snow with the upper level energy coming through late morning, maybe even early afternoon, and then clearing later Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly sunny. Temperatures staying pretty chilly, though, into Friday, so I expect a lot of the snow to stick around, certainly Thursday into Friday. Some of it starts to melt there as we really go Saturday into Sunday, and things will warm up into next week. So highs by Monday around 51 degrees. Throughout the day and throughout this event coming up over the next couple of days, our entire team here at 13 News Now will be working hard to cover this story. We've got a lot of crews set up, a lot of planning going in to cover the big event. So continue to check back with 13 News Now. And a great way to stay in touch with our forecast is by downloading the 13 News Now mobile app. It's really the best way to stay up on the forecast, any breaking news, any breaking weather information, special weather coverage, streaming to that 13 News Now app as well. So you can check the radar, check in on the forecast, and see what we are all thinking about any of the developments with this system or anything going on around Hampton Roads in the future. You can also find us on social. Here's where you'll find me. If you check it out, Facebook at Craig Moeller, Instagram at Craig Moeller TV, and finally on X, formerly Twitter, 13 Craig Moeller. So if you'd like to, you can reach out that way as well. And we do post extra stuff to our social media platforms. Taylor, we're going to be busy over the next couple of days.
Yeah, we're just locking in right now, getting you guys prepared, but we're going to be here. We already have our schedule set. We are ready to help you stay prepared, not scared for the storm.
Yeah, and again, the cool thing about these winter storms literally is if you are set up and ready to go, you can just stay in and enjoy it. This isn't one of those situations where you've got severe storms and, homes getting blown away or massive flooding or anything like that. This is just something where we want to let folks know, hey, this is what's coming up. Check in with us. We'll be out in there covering the snow and letting you know exactly what we get. But the main thing is be prepared and then just hang out and enjoy the wintry scene. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Weather Desk. Be sure and join us. We're going to have special extended coverage coming up tomorrow on the Weather Desk, and then certainly through the event on Thursday. You'll be seeing more of us and hearing a lot more from our entire team from 13 News Now.